Cecil, Supervisors Cecil, Savavic, Fisher, Townsend, and Dizio are in attendance. In addition, our Manager Januso, Public Works Director Bill Blackworth, our Director of Zoning Bruce Bosley, Dan Geyser, our Township Engineer, and our Township Solicitor Chris Holtz. At this time, we do, I just want to mention, we have a pretty involved and complicated hearing coming up immediately following this. It's a land use category issue in South Point, so that hearing immediately follows this hearing. So we're going to go into our citizens' comments first. But if you have something that's on the agenda, if you'd like to make a comment on an agenda item, please do it now or raise your hand. If it's something unrelated to the agenda, we will get to it later on in the agenda. So if anybody have any comments or questions on agenda items? Can everybody hear in the back? Sorry, just a couple of announcements. I want to mention our annual number 3 Volunteer Fire Department Carnival is going on this week. There's also a tradition for a water bottle battle at our Muse station. And I want to mention it's named after Paul Pivac. It's the Paul Pivac Senior Memorial Water Battle. But I want to mention also that his son, Paul Pivac, a current fireman number 3 here in Cecil, he was named the American Legion State Firefighter of the Year. That's a pretty, just a once a year person. So I don't know if he's here, he's usually here. We're going to get right to our resolution so we can move the meeting along. Our resolution number 141-2016, it's the subdivision plan application for Windsor Woods Phase 4. It's on King Edward and Sir Roberts Drive. It's basically, it's a PRD, and I think there's someone here from the company or for the applicant.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'd ask you, please just hold the microphone to your hand. It makes everybody can hear it better if you just hold on to it.
Sure, thank you very much. My name is Jim Rumbaugh. I'm the president of the Maritime Group, and partner in Windsor Woods LP. We were in front of this board several months ago with the approval of the master plan. The master plan was approved at 187 lots. We said that we would be back in about 3 months after we finished all the engineering and all the approvals that we needed. We believe that we have a clean letter from Gateway Engineering where we've answered all the correspondence back and forth. We believe that we've answered all of Mr. Bosley's questions. We want to thank them both for cooperating with us so much to try to get us here this evening. But this is phase 4 of that plan. We're actually going to do phase 4, 5, and 6. So this is phase 4. It's 61 lots. We're waiting for final plan approval, and as I said, I believe that we've answered all the questions. And we're here. We have our engineer here, Brian Messler, our surveyor, Bob Bedner, and myself to answer any questions that you might have concerning phase 4 of Windsor Woods.
I think right off the bat, we're going to ask our engineer. Dan,
yeah, Tom, there was an extensive amount of comments that we issued prior to the Planning Commission, but they had worked on those prior to the Planning Commission meeting, and they worked with us up until last week to get all the comments addressed. So this is essentially an extension, as Mr. Rumbaugh said, of the plan. Just a couple things to make the board aware of. They are creating a new intersection to come in off of. I think we discussed that during the planning process. So that's a good thing. They're going to not disrupt the neighbors that are there already. They are paving up to a point where they're going to balance the earthwork within phase 4 and phase 5. And they're going to attempt to pave, I guess, this year, at least the next phase of the development. There's some stormwater management systems that are proposed to address the development, and I'm satisfied that all the comments have been addressed and that they're ready to start work.
The phase 4 doesn't look exactly the same as the proposed for the preliminary?
Yes.
Master plan?
That's correct. It's all in accordance with the master plan.
Any board members have any questions of the applicant on that Windsor Woods?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said you're not going to bother the, or Tom said you're not going to bother the neighbors?
Well, what's happened is, when we met at the planning commission meeting, a number of the neighbors were concerned with the proposed entrance, which was the proposed entrance way back when. It was to the phase 4, 5, and 6. So with our engineering and with the help of Gateway, we were able to move that several hundred feet away.
Where was it going to be?
It was going to be 5 houses up further into the plan. Now we're just moving it closer to the main intersection. So we're not going in front of about 6 of the houses that are there currently. They thanked us for that. It's a better intersection, it's safer, and it's less confusion for the people. So other than that, it's in the same plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve that subdivision plan?
I'll make the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Thank you very much. And again, I thank Mr. Bosley and Mr. Dizer off the planning commission.
I know you have another housekeeping
So thank
item coming up next. It's Resolution 142, 2016. It's the sewage facilities planning module exemption for this PRD because they are going to the public sewer system and they're going to need the planning module for regular lot sewage. Anything to that, Dan?
The municipal authority is happy to have this development into the Miller's Run system. This is the first edition of a new large-scale plan that's going to go into that system, so it's going to be a benefit to them. And they also have indicated that they have adequate capacity. This is actually for a planning module exemption, which means that the DEP just signs off and says you really don't need changing your facilities plan because this Windsor Woods development had been included in the updated 537 study already. So it's just a formality, but the township needs to sign off on it and send it into the DEP.
If you're in the Miller's Run watershed sewage plan, the authority had counted on the future tax company to help offset the costs for the existing residents. So the answer is a good thing. So is there a motion to approve that planning module exemption? It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries.
But I still have another question.
Okay, thank you very much, though, for that vote. Yes,
How many
ma'am.
homes ultimately?
Between 187 and 191.
In the last phases or in the whole development?
In this whole development, this phase is 61.
61. So how many in 5 and 6?
I think 62 and 64.
I'm holding you to those.
I know, don't do that. Does that end up in a 7?
That's okay.
4, 2, and 1 ends in a 7, so I think it's about 187 to 193. We're still working on one more property.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very much, though.
thank you.
Thanks.
For resolution number 143, 2016, the subdivision plan, located on Miller's Run Road, the Belair subdivision, and I think Carrie Kreider from IHMT is here. I think it's just a simple subdivision, Carrie?
Yes. Yeah, it's just,
Wait till you get to the microphone, please, and pick it up. Everybody likes to hear it.
it's just a basic lot line shift and consolidation of, there were 3 parcels. One parcel did not have a house on, so we re-subdivided to put a house on each lot, and then that's an additional area for the driveway that was encroaching on the end property at Muse Bishop.
Where is this exactly on East Bishop?
It is right at the intersection of Muse Bishop, Miller's Run, and Ridgeway.
Okay, I'm with you.
Actually, even though you're combining lots, that's still, for NPC purposes, that's still considered a subdivision.
Yeah.
It's just odd terminology whenever you're combining. So is there a motion to approve this Belair subdivision?
I'll make it.
1 second, sorry.
Been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Thank you.
For 144-2016, it's a site plan application for Mylan Corporation. It's a 5-story office building with that pedestrian bridge that you described last meeting. I know there's somebody from the applicant here. You want to go first?
Sure. My name is Chad Stevenson with Mylan. Thanks for taking the time this evening. I am Mylan's global head of workplaces and real estate. With me this evening are a couple of our engineers, which will be available for questions. If it's okay with you, I have a few prepared remarks that I'll go through, and then we can get your questions. All right, so Mylan is requesting preliminary and final approval this evening for our proposed development of a 5-story office building within South Point 2 to support the company's continued growth. The proposed development site is the 10.84-acre neighborhood retail parcel south site located along Mylan Boulevard and will be an extension of Mylan's Global Center completed in 2013. The new development is planned to include 193,000 square foot, 5-story Class A office building, a pedestrian bridge to connect Mylan's 2 buildings.
It must be him.
Check one, check one.
I don't think it's Steve.
Is that Mike?
Everybody else turn off your microphone and
Want to try this one? Switch, try it, see if it helps.
Check. Test. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, let's try this. So it'll be 193,000 square foot, 5-story Class A office building, a pedestrian bridge to connect Mylan's 2 buildings together, and surface parking. A total of 498,000. A total of 498 parking spaces will be provided on the site, with additional parking provided via Mylan's parking garage located on our adjacent property at 1000 Mylan Boulevard. The adjacent site will offer in excess of 1,700 parking spaces compared to the ordinance requirement of 702. The combination of both parking areas will adequately service both buildings. Mylan has submitted under separate cover a letter of intent to utilize the shared parking provision within the Township's ordinance to fulfill parking for both of these sites. Additionally, Mylan is seeking a waiver to reduce the number of loading berths from 4 to 1, a waiver to allow 2 access drives along Mylan Boulevard rather than having 1 along Mylan Boulevard and 1 along Town Center Way, and lastly, a waiver to omit the ordinance-required sidewalk along Town Center Way. Documentation relating to each of these waivers has been submitted under separate cover to the Township. The building is designed to function as a single facility for our users. A pedestrian bridge will allow safe passage for employees from our Global Center's 2nd floor south wing to the 2nd floor of our new building. Variance requests have been submitted and approved by the Zoning Hearing Board for a building height in excess of 65 feet, as well as the projection of the pedestrian bridge over the building setback lines and the public right-of-way. We welcome any questions that you might have.
First of all, Dan, could you weigh in on those 2 requested waivers? I know you keep us up on docks and loading areas, but could you still weigh in on those 2?
Yeah, that's typical with all the other waivers that have been granted in South Point. But if you call the most recent updates to the ordinance, that was a board discretion item. So we changed that section around for any new applications. So the issue is that the ordinance was set up for loading docks, typically that you would expect trucks to pull into, and the modern office buildings don't have that. They just have loading and unloading for overnight mail and those types of things. So that's been a waiver that's been granted to all the office buildings in South Point too.
Does the pending ordinance is going to be corrected to change? What about the sidewalk elimination?
The sidewalk issue is that they're proposing a sidewalk on the correct side of the road. I think they can explain that better in the site plan where that is.